Twin Cities Queer Black Excellence was brought to you in part by these sponsors. Thank you for your support. Special thanks to Johnson & Johnson, Target 10, P-Fund, and Truly Hard Seltzer.
But you do not think I can make a scene from what you've seen. The times I fell through were because of you. Your eyes are green, forever green. I think I'm too sensitive or have a short temperament's not enough of what you trust. I gave you so much of most of my ducks, but I still ask, and I still ask. I don't got. Oh, so you think you're better than me? Take my money. Whoa, so you think you're better than me? Will you take all my money? Damn,
Welcome back to Twin Cities Queer Black Excellence. If you missed day one, be sure to go back and watch on Facebook or YouTube. We had some very important conversations and powerful performances. Day two is all about celebrating, highlighting the amazing talents of the Black queer community. Starting with a performance by DC-based singer, songwriter, and filmmaker B. Steadwell.
Hello, my name is B. Steadwell, and I am so honored to be a part of this. I just hope this song brings you some joy and some inspiration. This is a tune I wrote called Gay Sex. Racist white dudes are not new. Racist white presidents are old news too. A burning cross in the night is as American as apple pie. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies and bleaching out bloodstains. But look at us, we're so strong. We fall in love while the whole world tells us we're wrong. Yeah, look at us and our hearts. We fall in love while the world tears itself apart. Let them come to curse our names, try to make us feel ashamed. Yeah, they will come to curse our names. We'll just come and come again. Again. Oh, let's go home and have gay sex. We'll do it for the president, the sons of the Confederates. Oh, they wish they had love like this. So let's go home and have gay sex. We'll do it for the president, the sons of the Confederates. Oh, they wish they could fuck like us. Yeah. This is my civil unrest. There are so many ways one can protest. Ooh, hold up your sign in the street. Yeah. And when you're done, you bring your fine ass home with me. They will come to curse our names, try to make us feel ashamed. Oh, yeah, let them come to curse our names. We'll just come and come and come and come and come again, again. Oh, let's go home and have gay sex. We'll do it for the president, the sons of the Confederates. Oh, they wish they had love like this. So let's go home and have gay sex. We'll do it for the president, the sons of the Confederates. Oh, they wish they could fuck like us. These sad straight white boys crying in their pillows. What we gonna do if we lose our privilege? Oh, good Lord, whose country is this? Oh, these sad straight white boys crying in their pillows. What we gonna do if we lose our privilege? Oh, good Lord, whose country is this? Oh, these sad straight white boys crying in their pillows. What we gonna do if we lose our privilege? Oh, good Lord, whose country is this? It's ours, bitch. Let's go home and have gay sex. We'll do it for the president, the sons of the Confederates. Oh, they wish they had love like this. So let's go home and have gay sex. We'll do it for the president, the sons of the Confederates. Oh, they wish they could fuck like us, yeah. Straight white boys crying in their pillows. They wish they had love like us. Oh, good Lord, whose country is this? They want stuff put in their butts. Straight white boys crying in their pillows. They wish they could love like us. They wish they could love. Thanks for having me, y'all. I'm sending sweetness to you.
We're doing a giveaway with our sponsors at Truly. Let us know you're watching by posting a photo with hashtag QueerBlackExcellence and tagging Instagram, and a lucky winner will be chosen each day for a special prize. You must be 21 plus to enter.
Hi, I'm Rox Anderson. I'm the co-founder and director of Rare Productions. I'm also the co-chair of Minnesota People of Color Pride.
Hello, my name is Dennis. I'm founder and director of Twin Cities Black Pride, also a board member of Twin Cities Pride. Thank you for joining us for Black Pride Weekend.
We'll be having important discussions about why it's important for us to continue to have Black Pride.
Welcome, everyone. Today, our discussion will be about historical lack of inclusivity for the Black community, queer community, at annual Pride celebrations. And this, I'd like to introduce to you our panel for today's discussion. Earl?
Hi, my name is Earl Folks, and I'm the president CEO of the Center for Black Equity, which is an umbrella organization of 47 Black Prides in the United States, and I've been part of DC Black Pride since 1996.
Fantastic. And what would be your pronouns, Earl?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's he, his, and him.
Fantastic. Lee?
Hi, I'm Lee Soldier. I'm the executive director of the NYC Center for Black Pride. My pronouns are he and him.
Thank you, Lee. Robin?
Hi, my name is Robin Ayers. I use they, them, and she, her pronouns, and I am one of the organizers for the New York City Dyke March Committee.
Thank you, Robin, for being with us. And I'm BB Sweetbriar. I am a Black queer entertainer in San Francisco, also a member of SF Pride, and my pronouns are she, her, and they. Why don't we just dig right into today's discussion and toss out a question here. How have your organization's efforts to include Black folks into Pride events been met historically? Anyone want to fill that first? Earl?
Well, I'm with an organization that focuses on Black queer people, so we have not had any issues around including Black people. What issues we have had is making sure we're diverse and making sure we have enough women, transgender youth, seniors, and transgender men and women, I should say, seniors, and then all parts of the community are included, including the leather community and gender non-conforming people. So those are our struggles. We're inclusive, and we've created a safe space for everyone. We want to make sure everyone's involved, and everyone gets something out of Pride when they come to it.
Anyone have anything else to add?
So I want to say, being here in New York, where Stonewall initiated this movement, the Pride movement, or gay rights movement, as people would say, it's a strange history here that we have to understand that this whole movement started from trans women of color, right? Marsha P. Johnson, Sylvia Rivera. And then there's a third figure that we often don't talk about, which is Stormy De La Vere. Stormy really was the jump off. So now you have the march happening here in New York, and it's run by another organization that heads it up. So it seems as if for us here that a movement that was started by people of color on the cusp of the civil rights movement, this is 1969, and now it has come years later that a white organization is running this pride or this march or this movement, and we're like an afterthought. Like, we have to ask permission to be a part of it. We have to be heard, like to even hear Marsha's name being spoken. It's just the recently, the last 10 years, do I hear more people contributing and talking about Marsha and Stormy and Sylvia. So that's a shame. So we've had to create our own space, and we decided to do our own thing. And following the trend of what Earl started over in DC, creating something called a Black Pride, we began to do the same thing here in New York. And we found a way to kind of celebrate and uplift ourselves and be inclusive of of a movement that we actually started, but something that was uplifting for our own community here in New York. So this is the nature of how Black Pride in New York kind of got its roots to start.
Robin, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, New York City Bike March is a little bit younger than other organizations. We started in June of 1993 with the New York Lesbian Avengers. And it's a little bit different in that we are not a specifically Black queer organization. Our focus, obviously, is people who identify with the word dyke. And what that's meant historically has shifted time and time again. And what it's looked like has been more assembling a group of people and a group of skill sets, and then directing those towards the most marginalized and those without access to those specific skill sets.
Okay. Here in San Francisco, what I've seen is that we do have Black voices within the SF Pride. As a matter of fact, our current board president happens to be Black. But what I have noticed also is that those voices are muted, and there seems to be some effort, and I think this is probably applies to all Pride events across the country that I've either been involved with or seen, is that the LGBT organizations or community organizations that put on Pride don't want people of color to be the face of Pride. And I think maybe Lee was really talking a lot about that. They don't want us to be the face of Pride. So much, the inclusivity is somewhat muted, I guess is the best way to explain what I'm talking about. And I don't see us pushed out in all the media attention or being prominent figures as far as on the main stages or handling major topics and discussion groups all the time. I don't know if any of you think that applies to any of the situations you've been in.
Well, Bibi, which is interesting that you say this, is that I lived in New York in the 80s, and we used to go to Pride before there was a Black Pride, it was a community Pride. And before the over-policing, anyone could step off into the street and march. It was a march. It was not a commercial. It wasn't like a Macy's Day Parade. Now we have floats and we have all these corporate sponsors. And as soon as you start getting more corporate sponsors, the organizers of Pride became very cognizant of who the face of Pride was, because most of these big businesses didn't necessarily want to have a bunch of Black queer people sitting on their floats or being surrounded around the product that they're trying to push. And the more it became more commercialized, it became big business, and it became millions of dollars to put these prides on. And the further we got pushed back because we're not in those corporations, and we're not making those corporate decisions about participating in Pride. And the commercialization of community Pride has been one of the reasons why I believe there have been so many Black Prides, because people are tired of being over policed and seeing 10 hours of floats and people waving the same flags and looking very much different from the rest of the people who are watching the parade. I've been asked a lot about police presence at Black Pride, and I've been to almost every Black Pride that there's ever been. And there are very few police officers there because we don't need police. We police ourselves. And at the beginning of the first Pride parades, I have to preface this by saying that in 2013 I was one of the Grand Marshals with Edith Windsor and Harry Belafonte in the New York City Pride Parade. And one of the things that struck me, we were riding down Fifth Avenue, the number of police. And the crowds are peaceful. We don't this over policing as though that we're going to do something criminal. And you have this paramilitary police, and they're all dressed up in fatigues, and they have these weapons, have multi rounds and rubber bullets and tear gas and all this stuff they're carrying. Our Black Prides don't need that. We very rarely in the 30 years Black Prides have existed, we've very rarely ever had an incident of any trouble. And so most Black Prides, almost all of them, like I want to speak specifically for DC, we welcome police to come, and the only police that ever come are gay police, but we don't ask them to come, we don't pay for them to come because we've never needed them. We have people who handle our own security internally, who know our community, and we've never had a problem. And the fact that like somehow having all these police makes it is going to be a preventive measure, and all it does is, as Lee said, the barrier is you have to walk 3 blocks just across the street to the other side of the street. It's like it's not fun anymore. And when it becomes a business, when it's moved from being a business to these huge parades with hundreds and hundreds of thousands of police, actually in places like New York, it seems like half the police force is doing traffic duty. It's not necessary. Our communities don't need that. So no justice, no pride have been challenging the systems and prides all over the country, and they've done so in DC, and they've held several protests and stopped the parades from continuing, and because they object to the presence of police. And one of my colleagues said, "Well, I don't have any problems with the police." I said, "But if you're a Black transgender woman, you probably have a problem with the police almost every day you see them." So it's not about those of us who have some privilege and we have managed to fashion some kind of relationship with the police department as a status quo. It's about those people who are having the difficulties, like the trans women who every time they walk out the store to buy a newspaper, a stamp, or groceries, they're at risk. And those are the people, and the police aren't protecting them. So it's great that police are protecting things in Hell's Kitchen and DuPont Circle and Boys Town. And even in Castro, it's nice that the police are there and off there, gay police running around. But this is not what the average Black person, the average Black queer person has to deal with. And so we don't need all these police. We've never had any problems before, and we don't anticipate any problems. We're good at policing our own selves.
Yeah, I'm going to add to that and say that so police presence, like he said, definitely here in New York, police has always marched with us. There's always been folks that are gay that are in the police force, and they always had a contingent to be a part of Pride. And so there had been a huge shift here in New York after 9/11. After 9/11 happened, a lot of the things that we used to see, they changed the parade route a couple of times. The way that folks would be on buildings and rooftops and all these things looking over, a lot of all of those things stopped. I think that, people looked at those type of events as, as potential spaces or places when people could take advantage of attacking New York. So every year that becomes to be part of the question about the parade route, how we used to be able to go all the way down to the piers, and we would have the street fairs and all of those things. All of that was eliminated. Now there's another designated area, which is closer. It's like we're kind of making a U shape, coming all the way downtown to kind of walk back uptown to another place now. So I'm going to say, it's hard for me to say I don't receive the calls and things to understand why the police has, changed a lot of the things that they have changed. Maybe it is for our protection because of 9/11 and the other things that are coming in. Now, I will say with Black Pride, though, Black Pride, most of the time, we haven't needed a police presence. The last 2 years, my organization would be receiving threats from white organizations. They would be threatening us through my Facebook page and my other social medias. And so basically saying, why don't you go back where you came from, those type of conversations, or, you're the ones that are racist, we're going to start a white pride, and you guys better watch out. We do a huge event out in Coney Island, so we're out in the open. So there is a section of the police department that is run by gay officers. And they volunteer. They volunteer themselves. They contacted me and volunteered themselves to come down and just be in plain clothes to be amongst, just to keep a safe eye on us. And I have to say that I do feel a little bit better. They actually contact the local precincts to tell them that they're there, just to kind of make sure that if anybody was thinking of any of those threats that we receive are real, at least there was some kind of preparation around it. And it just put me a little bit at comfort. I was really shocked, actually, that somebody was taking the time to actually threaten us, and this whole thing about, there should be a white pride and we're going to interrupt you and all this type of things. It really took me by surprise. But I'm thinking, I've heard stuff has went on in other cities and states. I actually heard that they actually did a white pride, so the fact that they had enough gumption to do something like that was a concern for me, that they might just come to one of the events and decide to try to disrupt it or interrupt it. Did become a concern, because that would weigh heavy on my heart if something happened and I did not make sure that there was, some kind of precautions and stuff. So, and then the police started to also monitor my Facebook page and things like that, just so that they could, when those threats and stuff started coming in, if they had a way to kind of track some kind of source of where it was coming from. So I'm not going to say that I've had a negative experience with them. I've actually had a positive experience with them coming, and they always let me know. They don't come to all of the events, but they let me know that they're there and they're available to come if I want them to be there. But we haven't, like Earl said, we really haven't needed it. I'm just going to say in the last couple of years, I'm happy because of this whole change of climate now, where people feel comfortable to threaten us and feel comfortable now to say things, and so it's been a change. 9/11 happening here in New York changed the whole landscape of what was happening around big parades and things like that.
Yeah. Robin, what are your thoughts on the police involvement from a contingent standpoint in Pride Parade?
Yeah. Oof. My involvement in Pride organizations and any sort of Pride events has always been from the standpoint that we do not involve the police, we do not interact with the police. We have trained marshals that are there for de-escalation and to protect any event goers, any marchers from the police, because at all of our events and the things that we're making happen for our community, the NYPD is our biggest threat. I haven't had any personal experience with having outside threats from other organizations like Lee was speaking on, but we do very regularly get very aggressive police officers that will not let us march or will not let us take the street or are trying to harass whoever shows up to the Dyke March. So for me, part of what is always at the forefront of my mind is that if I am in the street, if I am in a direct action, if I am in any sort of pride space, if I am in a black space, the cops are my biggest threat. They are the biggest threat to me. They're the biggest threat to any other marginalized person in my area. So it's, to me, it is very much like de-escalate and keep them out of the space as much as possible, because you are a direct threat to my livelihood and to the livelihood of my queer family.
Again, I have 2 police officers in my family. I have a nephew and a brother-in-law who are police officers. So, I've not had any problems, not any major problems with the police. I've always had some minor issues, as most black men have. But the fact of the matter is that what we do in D.C. is that we have a number of private security people who are members of our community, and mostly women. And when the rare times we've had a little kerfuffle in one of the events, they de-escalated perfectly. We don't need to call the police. And the fact of the matter is as I'm speaking from my male privilege and my activist privilege, because there are certain privilege comes to being an activist, and knowing the police department, having interacted with the police department, that's not my story. Is not the story of the majority of young people, queer young people, the majority of black, queer, transgender men and women. The fact of the matter is, unless the least of us are feeling comfortable, then none of us are comfortable. What DC Black Pride and the other 46 Black Prides around the United States and the other 10 around the world, we create safe spaces, not partial safe space for certain groups within our community, for everybody. And that's why we have a lot of non-blacks who come to Pride all over the country, because they feel the safe space, they love the culture, and we're not celebrating Stonewall per se. We're celebrating ourselves and our intersectionality and our duality. And the police in the mix is not often it doesn't often contribute to that safety. It should in theory, but it doesn't. And people feel uncomfortable, and people will not come. And the whole purpose of Black Pride is to open the doors for everyone.
For the non-black community, that it's not enough to be an ally, that you actually need to be an advocate. And there is a difference. We need them both, but it's just not enough just to be an ally. We really need advocates, and hopefully those out there who may be watching that can see where that they can fit in and find it within themselves to become an advocate and move and help us move along. I want to thank all of you out there in the community watching today, and I hope that you've been enlightened. And if you would like to continue the conversation, please do so in the comments below. Again, thank you for watching the first annual Black Queer Town Hall.
We count, we matter.
Hear ye, hear ye. The matter of the 2020 census is upon us. This is the year to take charge.
Okay, I myself, I have worth. There's actually laws in place that say I have worth. You know what I mean? I count and I matter, and I don't just count and matter for Google anymore. You know what I mean? I don't just count and matter for white supremacy. There's state resources that me as an entity can count for.
Yes.
That's how everybody on every block should be like, this census is just step one. You are never alone. As a Minnesotan, you finna do your census, and then you automatically gonna know you're gonna get to connected to the right people to hold your institution accountable for you to get the resources you know you deserve.
We must be counted because the babies are counting on us.
We do all count, and it is important for us to show up
and get the money for our community, and also get to be visible in a way that means we're showing up.
We must be counted because Black trans lives matter. Because Black lives matter.
Come on!
Extra, extra, read all about it. The Constitution requires that we count everybody in the country.
Hey, all my family, dance in the street with me since it's 2020. Call that solidarity in the Twin Cities. Count 'em, count 'em, count 'em, eh. Count 'em, count 'em, count 'em, eh. Count 'em, count 'em, count 'em, eh.
It's our moment. When we love, struggle, and study like Robin D.C. Kelly compels us, we say to the world, we count, we matter.
It was so great to learn more about the importance of Black Pride festivals. And when you donate to Queer Black Excellence, a portion of our proceeds will go directly to MNPOC Pride. Donate at queerblackexcellence.org.
Hi, my name is Felix Foster, and I just wanted to take a moment to say a very special thank you to everyone who made these events possible. From our donors and sponsors, to the editors, fundraisers, community organizers, nonprofit partners, and viewers like you. Thank you so much. This event has been incredible, and it's not over yet. Up next, we're going to take a moment to observe where this land came from, and a special land recognition from our Minnesota Indigenous elders.
Greetings to the Twin Cities Queer Black Excellence Conference. My name is Louis Alamayu. The eternal spirit is the only reality, present in all things, animal, vegetable, mineral. From the grass and loam beneath our feet, to the distant constellations spilling across the vast universe. And here where we are, the Holy Land is all the earth. The water holy, the air holy, the creatures that crawl, the creatures that swim, all holy. Let us touch with kind hands, blessing all that lives, all that laments. Rise, be robust and brave in the face of dawn. You are the face of dawn. We all are the face of dawn. Face it. This land I stand upon is the home of the Dakota, Anishinaabe, and Ho-Chunk peoples of this region. What we have been calling the USA is actually Turtle Island. I have learned much from the indigenous people of this land that all matter, all human beings are made of that electrical charge of positive and negative, male and female energies that constitute 2, 4, or more genders. At least over the past 20 years or so, indigenous people of Turtle Island have begun to gather around two-spirit identity as a spiritual role in community and in tribes. This understanding within different names and stories and memories exist in ancient indigenous West African people too, like the Yoruba of Nigeria. There is much to learn. There is much to unlearn for healing and liberation. It is important to learn the distinct difference between inclusion in a toxic system and our liberation from it. These words now are from Ellen Hinchcliffe. Walk towards it. These are dangerous days. We, the people, imperfect and gorgeous, are building not walls, not prophets, not prisons or pipelines. We are building circles of resistance, circles of remembering, circles of creativity, circles of healing. We are finding each other in deeper, harder, more real, more raw, more challenging, more sustaining ways. Walk towards it. Seek to be one circle of many, one gathering of many, not on the internet, but in your hands, something that can be carried with you through your days. Through this hard, dangerous time, a talisman against isolation, despair, and a thing of beauty. Because you deserve beauty. A small reminder. We got you. You got us. We have each other. Whatever comes. Have a good conference.
Up next, we have more performances by Mother of the Rose Garden and Drag Idol 2020 winner, Rustina Rose. And then from season 12 of RuPaul's Drag Race, The Widow Von Du. Then later, a discussion from a public Twin Cities LGBTQ plus town hall meeting and a special message from iconic local radio personality Quinn Vila Gomez, aka Shimmer, and from singer, songwriter, and playwright Shaquita Hall.
First I need to say, you grow more beautiful each day, like leaves as their colors change. This may sound cliche, but I'd be lost if you ever went away. No, words are not my strength. So many years have come by.
Hey Siri, play music.
I've always been the one to say the first goodbye. Had to love and lose 100 million times. Had to get it wrong to know just what I like. Now I'm falling. You say my name like I have never heard before. I'm indecisive, but this time I know for sure. I hope I'm not the only one that feels it all. Are you falling? Center of attention, you know you can get whatever you want from me. Whenever you want it, baby. It's you and my reflection. I'm afraid of all the things it could do to me. If I would've known it, baby, I would've stayed at home, 'cause I was doing better alone. But when you said hello, I knew that was the end of it all. I should've stayed at home, 'cause now there ain't no letting you go. Am I falling in love with the one that could break my heart? Oh no, I was doing better alone. But when you said hello, I knew that was the end of it all. I should've stayed at home, 'cause now there ain't no letting you go. Am I falling in love with the one that could break my heart? I wonder when you go if I stay on your mind. Two can play that game, but you win me every time. Everyone before you was a waste of time. Hey, you got me. Center of attention, you know you can get whatever you want from me. Whenever you want it, baby. It's you and my reflection. I'm afraid of all the things it could do to me. If I would've known it, baby, I would've stayed at home, 'cause I was doing better alone. But when you said hello, I knew that was the end of it all. I should've stayed at home, 'cause now there ain't no letting you go. Am I falling in love with the one that could break my heart? Oh no, I was doing better alone. But when you said hello, I knew that was the end of it all. I should've stayed at home, 'cause now there ain't no letting you go. Am I falling in love with the one that could break my heart? Break my heart. Break my heart. Am I falling in love with the one that could break my heart? I would've stayed at home, 'cause I was doing better alone. But when you said hello, I knew that was the end of it all. I should've stayed at home, 'cause now there ain't no letting you go. Am I falling in love with the one that could break my heart? Oh no, I was doing better alone. But when you said hello, I knew that was the end of it all. I should've stayed at home, 'cause now there ain't no letting you go. Am I falling in love with the one that could break my heart?
Hi, my name is Sasha Castine, hostess of Flip Phone events and also a proud hostess of Twin Cities Queer Black Excellence. On behalf of myself and Truly Hard Seltzer, I want to thank you for joining us. We want to celebrate everything that makes the Black LGBT community special, and thanks to Truly for joining us so they can celebrate it too.
Welcome to the Black Queer Excellence Town Hall. My name is Jamon Kimbrough. Big shout out to Felix. He is the founder of the Queer Black Excellence Project, and he reached out to basically have me host this for you guys, and so we can talk about what's going on in our community. Felix, would you like to say anything before we get started?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you again for hosting this. Yeah, pretty much my desire, inspiration for doing this is just, there's a lot of people in the Twin Cities that voices are not being heard, which was kind of the reason for a lot of this movement in the first place. So I wanted to just create a space for more local people. We have some local performers in the project. and then some national performers with Bob and Peppermint helping. But I wanted to make sure that there was a space for people that aren't performers or aren't musicians or whatever to be able to just, say their piece, talk about things that are affecting them, and then get that out there on a bigger scale so that kind of we're getting a bigger spectrum of the Black queer community in Minneapolis and St. Paul talking about what's going on here.
Yeah, so we want to keep this very conversational, y'all. There's a few different things that I know Felix wanted to basically know about and see how you guys are feeling in regards to. And one of those is supporting our Black, trans, and non-binary community. What are some things that you guys have seen done or things that you feel we need to really work on? Not just as a community as a whole, but as a Black queer community too.
Hello, my name is Mo. I'm a performer here in the Twin Cities. I've been a performer for about 4 or 5 years now. I go by Mo Wrestle, if you don't know me. I feel like what we need currently, I don't see this a lot, is community outreach for trans, specifically trans people of color. The queer community isn't super welcoming still to trans people. We need to make ourselves readily available for trans people. We need to approach them and not have it to where they are approaching us in their dire need. We need to make absolute sure that they have the support, that they feel overwhelming support in all things. As a Black person, I feel like trans language is very toxic. We treat them with a lack of respect, and that is beyond reprehensible. As people who are treated with a lack of respect, we should know what that feels like, what that looks like, and what that sounds like.
Jay Yates, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you so you can speak.
Hi, my name is Jay, obviously. I am not in the performing scene for drag, but I'm a musician. I think that there's a lot of spaces that have sort of popped up that are meant for Black folks now, which is really great. But going to them as a Black trans person is still not a welcoming space. I think that that's something that we as queer Black people can sort of try to be more intentional about the spaces that we create and make spaces where we are specifically focusing on trans issues. When we are creating events for our community, we have to understand that some of us are having kind of compiling oppressive issues happening to us on the daily. And so making sure that trans women in particular feel safe, that trans non-binary people feel respected in the space is it has to be a priority, because it's definitely not happening anywhere else.
Hi, everyone who's on. I see some really beautiful and great familiar faces. Obviously, we haven't been able to take space in society the way we should. That's something that needs to be addressed. But also intent versus impact, right? I may want to defend somebody. I may want to really show up for somebody, but I need to wait for their cue. I need to wait for them to ask me. I need to practice that humility, because I can't be anyone's savior. All I can do is be part of the solution. All I can do is contribute to that solution.
Thank you for that. You're right. Here's the thing. When the whole letter came out that I wrote, all I want to do is make sure that you guys are safe and you guys are treated equitably. But you had a drag queen from the gay 90s that was on Drag Race, Mercedes, do a 13-minute video basically slandering me and telling me that I have no business in this community and then I'm just here to create drama and start shit. And it's how can you say that you're for the community and that you want to build and you have to show up for each other when stuff like that happens? How do we hold each other accountable? How do we talk about these things without, being labeled as messy?
Basically, I can't explain how grateful I am that this town hall is going. I can help to try and take on some of the brunt of things and help to try and correct and help to try and hold people accountable. But I need to learn and I need to know how to do it so I can help others.
Jay, do you want to go ahead and say what you have to say?
Yeah, I guess I kind of wanted to address like the sort of like infighting discussion. How do you get through conflict in a way that isn't fracturing to an already small contingent of people? And I think part of that is like being really intentional about when you decide to confront people. I think that like a lot of this like public confrontation that's happened in a lot of different spaces, but I mean, speaking from my own experience, there's been a lot of stuff in like activist circles. I know that like the St. Paul principles get like thrown around a lot. Basically, it's essentially that you don't confront people within the movement publicly. You confront them like in private and you like deal with that in your own space, because as an activist, like it is unfortunately important that you present a united front. I guess just like being more thoughtful about like how we resolve our conflict.
I don't disagree with you by any means. I think a lot of people here are just ingrained in that Minnesota nice passive aggressive stuff. I'm not from here. That's not how I operate. So if I come to you and like, hey,
neither am I, just to clarify.
If we have an issue, let's talk about it. But if you're going to send me off and you're going to ignore me and then slander me and all of that, then it's just like, okay, now we have to make this public. And it's unfortunate that things like that have to happen, but it happens all the time. Go ahead, Mo, go ahead.
I think the first and key to resolving conflict is speaking truth to your feelings. I feel this. I feel this. Not saying this is this and that's that. No, I feel this. Speaking truth to that. If you feel some type of way, speak truth to it.
All right. Amir, you want to go ahead, and then Alex, I'll get back to you.
This is just going off of what Jamal was saying earlier. If there's an issue and you've gone to this person time and time again, you also have the ability to let the truth speak for itself. There are going to be times where you're going to want to pick and choose your battles, and those times are very important. However, when you're having those times, it doesn't mean that you always, have to have an immediate response. It's mainly about conserving your energy, because already we're spent. We're doing everything we can to try and battle everything. And now it's getting back to where, okay, I need to save my energy. I can't deal with this mess because I need to deal with this mess that's coming up. And a lot of people don't know how to do that yet. I feel like if we get a chance to at least help educate people on showing like, hey, you can pick and choose your battles and it's not going to damage you in any way, especially if you are being, truthful and authentic to what you're doing and to who you are. That'll show regardless. We shouldn't have to stress ourselves out so much on one issue when we have a whole conglomerate of things that we got to take care of right now.
And you're 100% right. And we'll get more into that after I let Alex say what they have to say. Go ahead, Alex.
Thanks. I was just going to say that with all due respect, I don't think there is ever there is ever a moment when I feel like I'm not left with an option within my community. I think there are always options. I believe that we just have to be intentional about getting creative about how we resolve our conflict. And I think that the larger conversation, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the point of this town hall is to figure out how we build community in the Black queer community, right? And obviously we have to talk about conflict. We have to talk about drama. It's a part of our lives. It's a part of what we deal with regularly. Because we can't build community on a house of cards. We just can't. That being said, let's also pair talking about the problems with talking about the solutions that are going to move us forward, right? It's part of the reason why I am like in this super raw, vulnerable place of running for office, because like we know what the problems are, and we can talk into the echo chamber all we want, but ultimately it's going to take each and every one of us to be a part of that solution and to talk about what the solution is. And we're not going to agree all the time. It's going to be messy. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be emotionally taxing. And we're going to have to lean on each other too, right? Because nobody else is going to come and comfort us as we're doing this work. So unfortunately, I have to hop off, but I just wanted to say that I really appreciate everyone on this town hall. Thank you, Jamad, for facilitating. And yeah, y'all are rock stars, and we got this. We just have to have the tough conversations.
Thank you for that, Alex. My next question is, how do we go about supporting each other when it comes to, different events and different, community spaces like this? How do we open up those lines of communication? Because even before COVID was even happened here and we were hit hard, these were the same conversations. People promoting all of the stuff for the saloon and, for regular Twin Cities Pride, but you didn't see that same energy for like, POC Pride or, any of the shows that featured heavily BIPOC community members.
Like I said, I'm coming from Columbus, Ohio, moving up here to Minneapolis. So in Columbus, Ohio, we actually started our own community pride because we were tired of dealing with the corporate pride that happened. We were tired of it. When I tell you our representation on people who showed up to the community pride was more than what actually showed up for the corporate pride, just because people were tired of dealing with that shit. And people were tired of seeing all of these different corporate sponsors where at the end of the month, their shit changed over like it was fucking chameleon, like it was nothing. We had vendors there. We had other performers there. We had a live show. I performed myself, and it was on the same day as Pride. It was on the exact same day. So you could have called it a controversial event, whatever you want to call it. But it's the fact that it took us all having to come together in order to simply say, hey, we just need a separate event, just to show like if you're actually here and you're actually for us, that you're going to do so. But at the same time, we never told people not to go to the corporate event. We never told people not to go ahead and show your money out there. Because if you have the money for it, and if they provide you with your phone bills and whatnot, if they pay your bills, do what you need to do. But you want to make sure you are truly welcome in this space.
Hey guys, I know a lot of you. I live in Minneapolis. I'm a photographer. I'm a social justice advocate and the lead photographer for Twin Cities Pride. What Amir brought up was a good point that there's definitely two separate prides right now. This year we had a march, which was amazing, but I don't want it to stop at that. And I still have been vocal about things that Pride can do to continue the movement, but they haven't changed at all. So one thing I will say is that Pride is not aware of the platform that they have in Twin Cities and around the world to advocate for change. And I wish that they would do more about it. I know that they posted a few times in June about a couple things that are going on. There was an apology to the public. They did not post about the Pride March before it happened. So there's things that should have taken place that haven't, and since then haven't either. And I don't know who to blame, or I just would like a discussion around what the expectations are for Twin Cities Pride. So what can we do to let them know, hey, you need to be posting these things? Because once they start posting these things, white people will start to feel like, oh, well, shit, maybe it is okay if I post, yeah, Breonna Taylor's murderers have not been arrested yet, and how long has it been?
Say it. Say it.
For those who don't know me, I'm Deshaun. I'm the entertainment manager for Twin Cities Pride. I've been on Pride for the last 5 years, as Brooke has spoke about. For my end, I'm fighting the battles behind the scenes. So there are people on the inside that are still fighting behind the scenes. For most of you, I didn't know you guys are performers, right? And I'm assuming you probably didn't know that I was on the manager team, right?
I did. Yeah.
But I never met you before, and for that platform, like, I'm willing to give people the platform. I got 5 stages in the park every year that I could put you on.
Oh yeah, I've heard good things about.
So it's really hard trying to get those performers if they're not willing to do the necessary steps that we just put out for everyone. For every artist, we go through the whole steps, right? So if those artists aren't doing it, how am I supposed to reach out to them and give them that platform? That's one. Hold on.
Okay.
From this year of COVID, it has been a struggle. For that mission statement, we literally just changed our mission statement the beginning of the year. And that was a struggle, trying to change all those and everything like that. Like, it's been a very hard, especially for a Black gay male on the volunteer end of Twin Cities Pride. So I just want to put that out there. But I'm here. I've always been here, and I've been speaking up. So,
Dennis, did you want to say something quick? Then I'll get to you, Felix.
Racism is America. We came here on that. That's going to be here. That's not Pride's fault. That's just the way America is. We have to figure out within that system how we get around that. Because I think Pride is willing to help, but they don't know what they don't know. So, I mean, you can hold all of them accountable because of racism, but at least we still have to do our part to make sure it's in their face every day to make sure that they know what we really feel.
NH, do you have something to say?
If the organization is interested in what people are having to say, then the organization has the kind of social media reach to say, here is an open Zoom meeting that the organization will be fronting, we will be opening the room, we will have the board there. And yeah, you brought up you have a 501(c), 3C. And here's the thing, though, is that those member meetings that are just open to your membership, there also need to be public meetings with being able to hold an open forum where the public that you are serving is able to address the board members, is able to address those things. I just feel like at some point that should have happened.
I'll speak to that. All of our meetings have been open to the public. For the past 5 years, they've always been open to the public.
And then have they been advertised?
For board. Have they what?
Have they been advertised, they said?
Yes.
Yes, they're online. They're on the website.
Interesting.
So it's just, are the people showing up?
Felix, did you want to have something to add?
Yeah, so I just as the other board member, just for transparency's sake, like Deshaun and Dennis were saying, there is this very long 50+ year history of Pride being racist, being white, being made for rich white gay men and no one else. And that, so I'm on the board. That was told to me when I joined the board, and I joined very young. It was probably 4 or 5 years ago now. So I didn't know the whole history about it. I had just gone to the festival, gone to the parade, whatever. And so learning all of that, I was like, that's super weird. But where we're at now, the board is Dennis and myself, and then 2 other people at this point. We have 2 paid staff. All of our volunteer staff, like Deshaun and all of the managers of the different departments, are volunteers that are just showing up every week. for no money. So like, I totally hear where everyone's coming from, and that's part of the reason that I wanted to do this, is so that we can get this ball rolling. I know we tried to do it like 2 years ago, do a couple town halls. We did a partnership with Outfront, and that's what that is. But trying to get this to be a more continuous thing, trying to get more people to show up to our board meetings, especially now since they're over Zoom, when I meet in person, getting people to show up and talk and, you know, have these pourings out of like what people are feeling and who's feeling left out. Because, you know, when I'm seeing like the protests and the Take Back Pride and stuff being on the inside, all of the conversations we're having are the same conversation. Thank everyone for coming. I really appreciated it. I feel like I was very impressed by the first two that y'all did, and I just really want to get our community talking, because, you know, as we have discussed on here, even, it's so segmented and people are just not talking and it's not getting out there and people aren't showing up when the conversations are happening. So I feel like doing this, and especially in this format where, you know, it can be recorded and it can go up, and so you can say like, we did this, we had this conversation, you didn't show up, if somebody's got a problem with it. So
all right, we'll talk to y'all later.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Good afternoon. My name is Quinvia Gomez, aka Shimmer, and I use the pronouns she, her, female pronouns. And I'm an openly trans Latina woman living right here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And today, I'm so honored to sit down and share a little bit about myself and talk about Twin Cities Black excellence and why is solidarity important to me. Radio, music, media. Why is it all important to me? I love it. I breathe music. I think music is a way for me to escape, especially when I'm having a bad day. It's helped me with my mental illness, my anxiety, my depression. I could go into the studio, listen to a song, and just really tune out the world and not think about my daily problems. In 2012, I went to school for radio broadcasting. I wasn't finding anything. I was told I wasn't good enough. And I often felt like because I was transgender, because I was Latina, and because I was a woman of color, I wasn't going to make it. I gave up for a while, wasn't finding anything. And then in 2014, I went to a support group at Cafe Southside, located in South Minneapolis. And Roxanne Anderson and Anna Meyer were the owners of the cafe. And there was a support group for queer and trans people. Went to that group one night, met Roxanne, and I shared my story about being trans, being Latina, being cultural, what were family diversities in my life. And I also talked about radio and media. After the support group that night, Roxanne pulled me aside and said, "Hey, Shimmer, so I hear you love radio and I hear you love wanting to be on the mic." And I said, "Yes." Rox said, "I have a radio program called Fresh Fruit and Rare Productions. Why don't you come sit with me one night?" I was like, what? I was blown away. I could not believe it. So I took it as like a way for me to be like, okay, wow, I'm going on the radio. Like, this is major. This is super major for me. Went on to Rox's show, sat there, co-hosted with them, and I was blown away by their talent and their beautiful speaking voice. Rox has this very soothing voice. It's very soothing and just very mellow, and I love the way that they talk. And so Rox was like, "Okay, I'm going to see what you can do, Shimmer. You got your work cut out for you." So Rox gave me some homework. I had to get guests, I had to book questions, and so much more. I've never missed a show once. During the biggest snowstorm we had here a couple of years ago in the Twin Cities, Rox was at a conference. I wasn't board certified, and I remember picking a song to play for the show, and I came up with India Ari's Brown Skin. That has been the theme song of Fresh Fruit and Rare Productions ever since. What is Fresh Fruit and Rare Productions? Fresh Fruit and Rare Productions is a show that Rox hosts every second Thursday of the month on KFAI Radio. KFAI also has Fresh Fruit, which is the longest running LGBT show in the nation. So I co-host with Roxanne every second Thursday of the month, and we speak specifically to queer and trans people of color. We bring them on. We talk about their artistry. We talk about them being in dance. We talk about them being in activism. We talk about their feature film. So much more. The show has really molded me into being a better host, to being visible in my community, and to be a proud trans Latina woman. I'm also a media host with Rare Productions. What is Rare Productions? Rare Productions is an arts and entertainment media company. They produce, they promote, they co-create, and they also give opportunities and find ways of innovative artistic strategies that give queer and Black and trans people of color an opportunity to host an event, to perform at an event, and also to ensure that we're being paid for our time and our craft and our passion. Rare Productions was founded by the late Rochelle James and Roxanne Anderson, and that's how you get Rare Productions. Why is solidarity important to me, especially within the Black and queer and trans community? Being a woman of color and being a trans woman of color is so important because often we're already marginalized. We're told we're not good enough. We're used to tell our stories by white communities. We're not paid for our time. And oftentimes, white and cis communities want to use us to tell our stories to say that they support Black and trans people of color, when oftentimes they don't. And it's important for me, especially as a trans woman of color and as a queer trans woman of color, that I make sure that I give Black and trans people of color an opportunity, whether it's being part of my fashion show, whether it's modeling in a fashion show, bringing them onto the radio, having them sit down and co-host with me. It's also important to me to make sure that our voices are not silenced and that we're speaking up and that our voices are being told truthfully and authentically and to love our amazing true selves. Again, my name is Quinvia Gomez, aka Shimmer, and it was so great today to sit down with all of you and to talk about why is the Twin Cities Black excellence so important to me right here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Stay amazing. Peace.
Hey guys, Shaquita here, coming to you from New York City. If you don't know who I am, shame on you, you should. I'm a performer. I've been performing in New York City and around the world for the past, mind your business. I am super glad to be part of this Black Queer Town Hall event. I have performed for a long time. And so most of you know me as this New York City performer, but originally I was born in Jamaica. I was not born in America. And when I was a child, moving here when I was 11 years old was definitely an eye-opener for me. Because in Jamaica, we don't really experience racism because everybody's Black, or not everybody's Black. We're pretty mixed in Jamaica, but we don't. We're the majority. So then, when I moved here when I was 11, it was it was an eye opener, and I gagged. I was like, "Why are you treating me differently? Why are you not?" And then I quickly had to learn that just to be equal with you, I had to study harder. I had to work harder. I had to dress better. I had to be more mindful around white people, just to be treated as an equal. And I think all Black people know this, that we have to do 150 times better than our regular white friends just to be equal. I know personally that when I walk down the street, I have to keep a distance. If there's a white woman in front of me, I have to keep a distance. If it's nighttime and I'm walking down the street, there's this white woman walking down the street, I keep my distance because I know she's going to hold on to her purse and she's going to be frightened, or she maybe call the cops on me. And, I'm not trying to die. I got a couple of shows left in me. So the fact that is still happening, and when I say to my white friends, things like that happen where, white women are afraid of me, or I go to a store and people follow you around, or I can't get a taxi because I'm Black, and my white friends are like, "Oh, that doesn't happen. It's 2020," and I'm like, It happens every single day, and unless you experience it, then it is so hard to grasp it. And there's a part of me that understands that you cannot fathom that racism still goes on, but it sadly still does. I am one that's very much about empathy. Like, I may not know your struggle, but if you are telling me that you're struggling and I can see that you're having a hard time, I'm going to be right there in your corner to help you out. And I'm kind of asking my white friends and what basically the world, the community, is to listen to us. And, I've asked some of my friends, why haven't you posted anything regarding Black Lives Matter on your Instagram? And they're like, well, it's not for that. And I'm like, well, if not now, when? So I am super excited to be a part of this Black Queer Town Hall. It has always been the artists that have helped to push the needle forward in the right direction of history. So I'm super excited to be here, and let's do this.
Hello, this is Todrick Hall, and I just wanted to dedicate this to all of my queer, Black, amazing unicorns that are in the Twin Cities area. I have had the honor and the privilege of being able to educate and to touch the lives of so many people, millions of people all over the world. But nothing warms my heart as much as seeing a young African-American boy from a small town who resembles the same story that I have experienced myself, and being able to let them know that they can chase their dreams, that anything is possible. I want to congratulate all of you at this time for your patience during this coronavirus and the quarantining with all of the protests that have been going on, and so many people discovering their privilege for the first time. I have had so many stories and situations in my life, but one time I was walking down the streets in LA, and this was after I had been on American Idol, and I had had somewhat of success and felt like I was a name that people would recognize. And I was talking to my mom on a random Tuesday afternoon, and a cop car pulled up on the street, and my mom, I had the old headphones, I didn't have AirPods or anything that was just like Bluetooth. I had like the cord that went into my pocket, and the cops were trying to talk to me, and my mom started freaking out on the phone, and I had to like try to talk to my mom while also trying to listen to them. And in one moment, I just decided to dig into my phone to end the call so I could hear what the cops were saying. And to them, they thought I was reaching for a weapon. It was a very scary moment for me, because I have to admit that there was a while that I had become so comfortable in my environment that I forgot that to these cops, I was just a Black man. They didn't care about my story, my experience, what I had done for the community, what I had done for just children and introducing them to theater and making them feel accepted. All I was at that moment was a Black man. And that was scary to them, scary enough that they decided to push me on the ground, push my face into the cement, arrest me, before they then realized that I was not the person who supposedly matched the description of someone who had recently robbed a house, which I still don't know if that was actually true or not. But to this day, I have devoted my platform and tried to make so many videos to educate people and to make people, especially people who look like me and who come from backgrounds like me, feel comfortable, whether at my concerts or at the Broadway shows that I do, or at meet and greets, or when I see them in the streets. I always want to be somebody, to be a shining example of something that can happen to you if you chase your dreams and truly believe. The world has not always been a safe place for us, and it still is not the safest place today. But thanks to organizations like this and what we're all doing, we are making this place safer for ourselves and for the future of queer Black excellence. Much love to you all, and I hope you're safe wherever you are. Mwah.
From the top, keep it 100. Lots of things to stop if there's no need to fund them. It's up to our community, we gotta run it. Every 10 years the government learns from us. It's a necessary process for participation. It don't matter if you're naturalized or not from the nation. We gotta stand up, be willing and able, so that we aren't overlooked, get our seat at the table. Billions of dollars in Fed funding, it's no small change, it ain't nothing funny. Free breakfast and lunch if you're hungry. Please step to the front and stand among thee. One life at a time till it becomes we. Libertad, yes, the mission is to be free. So it's time to stand up and be accounted for. Even though we got some reasons, we got 1,000 more. Yo, still we rise. Still we rise. Hey, hey, I said still we rise. Still we rise. Yo, back, yo. Still we rise. Okay. Still we rise. Hey, I said still we rise. Alright. Still we rise. Yo, check it. Big money, hundreds of billions. That's a lot. Needs to have destinations, places to fill in. These monies help out with school lunch, hospitals, fire departments and such. Right. Small business owners, they need the data too. Oh, yeah? So they know what kind of products and who to market to. True. And who they gon' recruit, reboot, and plans to fix the highways, everything we need to. It's the way to let them know. No matter how the faces change, our village remains so. It remains. You can try to overlook what you see. That's right. We all stand together in unity. Come on. Funding for Section 8, training for employment. Yeah. How we manage our waste, Medicaid, and insurance. Prevention of drug abuse, addressing the crises. A head start, take part, cause it's your right, G. Yo, come on. Still we ride. Still we ride. Hey, come on, come on. Still we ride. Still we ride. Yeah, front, yeah. Hey, still we ride. Okay. Still we rise. My homies in the back. Hey, still we rise. All right. Still we rise. Check. Hey, Pell Grants help these cats get through college. That's right. Direct an emergency response. Get the knowledge. Oh. You know the vibes. Yeah. Don't hold the lies. They ain't supposed to use your info to tip eyes. So don't let that myth dissuade you. Time to make it clear you exist. Gotta make moves. The ways to do it. If you are able, on the phone, on the paper, or on the waves. Ooh, I mean online. Okay. Don't take a long time. Right. But we gotta make the decade ahead of line. Yeah. With the truth, our bodies are our proof. Okay. Time to stand for the elderly and the youth. Right. Infrastructure's not a luxury, it's necessary. Hey, influencing the way that the government carries on a sense of involvement. We all in, head down, stand up for all of y'all kin. Yo, come on. Still we rise. Still we rise. Hey, I said still we rise. Still we rise. Yeah, the back, yo. Still we rise. Okay. Still we rise. Hey, I said still we rise. All right. Still we ride. Check it. Yo, and another thing. If you are a felon, on parole, on probation or papers, you can still participate in the 2020 census. For more information, hit us up at rareproductionsmpls.com or WeCountMinneapolis, all spelled out, .org. Again, rareproductionsmpls.com and WeCountMinneapolis.org. Rise up, make a difference, and take part in the census 2020. Yeah.
Still we rise. Still we rise, like a phoenix from the ashes. Still we rise.
This has been such an amazing experience, and I'm so happy you are all able to join us. Continue conversations at home and online with #QueerBlackExcellence. Unfortunately, we are coming to the end of our program, but today is about celebration. So let's close out the show with some concert series. Up next, the very first winner of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 1, Minneapolis resident, serving you body, serving you face, my dear sister and friend, Bibi Zahara Benet. Then activist, singer-songwriter, Broadway star, and producer of Queer Black Excellence and Black Queer Town Hall, Peppermint. And finally, New York City's pop recording activist and transgender superstar with personality and undeniable style, a legendary YouTube sensation, our headlining performer, Mila Jam.
This is for every single one of you out there. Okay. Body. All right. Body. Tell them. Body. Body.
dirty place.
All eyes on me,
Trying to catch a wave.
but you know easy.
Girl, no catch his face.
Side-eyeing me,
Trying to find my place.
with your body on me.
You better know your place.
Act a fool with me.
Step up to the plate.
I'm a real OG.
Grab me by the way.
Know that, baby.
I see him for your face.
You ever easy.
My body don't ready. Rock me steady. Break these levees. Got me sweating. My body don't ready. Rock me steady. Break these levees. Got me sweating. Body up, body up, body up, body up, body up. Put your body on me.
Body up, body up, body up, body up, body up.
Put your body on me.
Body up, body up, body up, body up, body up.
Put your body on me.
Body up, body up, body up, body up, body up.
Put your body on me.
Oh, 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 oh,
Give it to me. Put your body on me.
oh, 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 oh.
Body on me. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Patrick. Come on, Patrick. As we groove, yeah. Give it to me. Okay. Here we go. Baby, take your hand.
Put them all on me.
We don't need to dance.
Touch my body.
Cancel all your plans.
Not just you and me.
Come on, take a chance. Come on, take a chance. Come on, take a chance. When I back it up,
Push it back on me.
you be playing right.
I'm a real OG.
Nothing good enough when you groove on me. I'ma call you bluff. I'ma call you bluff. I'ma call you bluff. My body don't ready. Rock me steady. Break these levees. Got me sweating. My body don't ready. Rock me steady. Break these levees. Got me sweating. Body up, body up, body up, body up, body up. Put your body on me.
Body up, body up, body up, body up, body up.
Put your body on me.
Body up, body up, body up, body up, body up.
Put your body on me.
Body up, body up, body up, body up, body up.
Put your body on me.
Oh, oh, oh,
Oh, put your body on me.
oh, oh.
Give it to me. Give it to me. Let's break it down. Let's break it down. Let's break it down. We go left, left, right, right. You point the waist, then we grind all night. We go down, down, up, up. Body like mine, make you fall in love. We go left, left, right, right. You point the waist, then we grind all night. We go down, down, up, up. Body like mine, make you fall. Come on, body up, body up, body up, body up, body up. Put your body on me.
Body up, body up, body up, body up, body up.
Put your body on me.
Body up, body up, body up, body up, body up.
Put your body on me.
Body up, body up, body up, body up, body up.
Come on.
Oh, 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 oh.
Come on.
Oh, 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 oh.
Put your body on me.
Oh,
Bye-bye, baby. Drive me crazy.
oh,
perform some music for you. It is brand new music, unreleased. I have been working very devotedly on some new music that is basically my personal diary and all of its blackness and all of its transness sort of set to music. And it feels good to be able to give that to you. I always wanted to hear an album that's not only fun because, you know, music is really universal, but even with that music being universal, I've still always kind of struggled and longed for music by an out black trans woman singing about the things that relate to her in a way that's not like coded. You know, like I'm sure if we go back and listen to some Ricky Martin, there'll be like secret codes, but he was really singing about a different experience, probably than what he would sing about today. That's my words, not Ricky Martin's. But I would like to have heard a black trans woman singing R&B music. So hadn't heard it, so I'm creating it now. And yeah, so I hope you enjoy. I have the new album is called A Girl Like Me, Letters to My Lovers. And the first EP comes out soon, maybe next. So the next song is called Best Sex. And it's all about the players. If you can't find Mr. and Mrs. Right, you can find Mr. and Mrs. Right now. Always keep me waiting. You never come on time. Text me every minute, and then you don't reply. And you ain't got no money. And you ain't got no place. Always undercover. All torso and no face. You don't want nobody seeing me with you. And you ain't got no time for me until you do. Always lying, why can't you just tell the truth? There's only one reason that I mess with you. You got the best sex. You got the best sex. Oh my gosh. For the rest, next. But boy, you got the best sex. Can't make conversation. All your talk is cheap. About 7 cents. Girlfriends, they told me just last week, LaWanda and LaRonda and Jane said you texted them. You never keep a promise. Lying through your teeth. Status. Then you ask me if I'm clean. I get this at every single time. You don't want nobody seeing me with you. You ain't got no time for me until you do. Never give me notice when you're swinging through. ain't got too much, but I know this much is true. You got the best sex. Damn. You got the best sex. Oh. As for the rest, next. But boy, you got the best sex. Oh gosh. And I hate that it's all that I know, but I love how you come and you go. Let me get the door so you can hit the road. You're only good for one thing, boy. Best sex. Gosh, not again. All right. You got the best sex. Oh, what are you doing? Nothing. As for the rest, next. Yeah, all right. But boy, you got the best sex.
Thank you for watching and standing with me in this moment. We got more work to do. Let's do it together. Be you, be proud, be Jamazing. And I'll see you as we move toward better days.
I sing out a prayer for our better days. Yeah. Your smile says to walk away for the rest of the day. Why do you hold my heart, then rip it all apart? Why make our love so hard? To my knees I fall, and I'm praying for better days, better days. I'm still praying for better days, better days. Better days, better days. I'm still praying for better days, better days. Better days, better days. I'm still praying for better days, better days. I keep hope so high that we'll see our better days. You'll be the one that always is so set in your ways. Why do you hold my heart, then rip it all apart? Why make our love so hard? To my knees I fall, and I'm praying for better days, better days. I'm still praying for better days, better days. Yeah, yeah. Better days, better days. I'm still